Hey, y'all. Give me a few minutes to get some things organized here. We're a little bit early. I saw a bunch of people in the comment section, so I thought I'd just jump on.
Get decked.
All right, we got that worked out. Okay. What's going on? Cajun Jules, Cam is the most interactive host out of all of them. Oh my gosh, I never know what to say. I do this because the reason I'm doing this is because uh the other night, right before Christmas when we did this, we just had random people coming on, and I thought we would do that again. Before we do that, though, there's a few things I want to talk about, and stuff like this. And I'll tell y'all right now, I've got a big old fat dip in. I know that kind of grosses some people out, but I'm going to click the camera off every once in a while and spit. So I'm not gone. It just takes a second, but I don't want you to watch me spit. So I know that's kind of gross. All the girls are going, oh, gross. It's a bad habit. It really is a bad habit. Hi, Lanita. Let's see. I figured out how to do this today. I've been doing these lives for a long time, and there's still a lot of things I don't know. Yeah, I have two Surleys. I'm real lucky that I'm able to have two Surleys. I have a Wednesday and an Ogre. And I have a couple of other bikes. I have a Marin Four Corners, and I have a, I've sold all my other ones. My son's got my Marin. I call them Marins. Maybe other people call them something else, but my Wednesday, my fat bike is, I folded over one of my cassette gears last week, and I don't work on my bikes. I take them to a bike shop in Memphis, and the guy's he's an old salty Marine, and he takes care of all those repairs. And so it's over there. He had to order a new cassette, and he's having trouble finding them. I haven't talked to him. I think it was Christmas Eve. I took it to him, and I haven't talked to him since then. Some of these comments I don't understand. We're just going to shoot the bull for a little while, if that's okay with y'all. And then I've got one guest lined up. And if you'd like to come on, hey, Neoma, if you'd like to come on and share the screen with me for 5 or 10 minutes, tell an encounter, you talk about whatever you want. I just kind of, let me pull up my email account so I can see them coming in. If anybody emails me. I wish I could turn this camera around. Y'all could see my control center. I've got these two giant monitors, one here and one here. They're big TV sets. And it's because of the business I'm in, my 3D modeling business that I do. And I can have jobs on both screens, and I can have, dang, I'm roasting in this office. I don't even have any heat on. Some other people had sent some the last time, and they didn't get a chance to get on. And I still have their emails, but they're way down the line. So we'll just let me silence this phone. All right, I've got one of the Yeti brothers coming on with us here in a little while, and he just said he'd be in about 5 minutes. Tyrell, just take your time. We're going to shoot the bull here for a little while, and this is really boring. I don't know why anybody would want to watch one of these live feeds. Jeff's got to dip in. Now you're talking. I don't know. I don't dip that much. Maybe 3 or 4 dips a day. But so here goes the camera. But this just seems so boring. But some people enjoy it, I guess, and I love getting on with you guys, and that's what's fun to me. So okay, I'm watching my email account here. So if you'd like to come on and share a screen with me right here, get on right here with me. It's real easy to do, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. You need a webcam, you need a microphone and earbuds or headphones. It's hard to do just talking to you can do it on your phone. Just use your earbuds, Bluetooth, or plug in. And then send me an email, and maybe in the subject line, type in live feed or live stream or whatever to kind of catch my attention. And I'll send you a link back right now. You click on the link, and then you come in and we're talking. It's like phenomenal technology. And it's really kind of crazy to me how it all works. But it does work. Okay, I gotta. Okay, all right. We've got a guy who's just started a podcast. Let's get him on. Let me send him a. I'll let him introduce himself to you guys. I'm not going to bring him on right now, but I'm going to send him the link. Okay, he's got the link. So, Eric, come on in, and I'll put you down here. But I've got to talk about a few things first. Let's get this out of the way. Tell you what, I'm gonna spit this dip out. I'm gonna turn the camera off for just a second. Okay, swallowed about half of it. I wanted to talk. I've been meaning to talk about a couple of things, and y'all probably don't care about this, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. I've had a few people email me, and no one's really said it in the comments. Oh, by the way, some jackass left a comment on the last Steve Lilly thing that I did. He said he said that I was doing a fake accent, and he said the stories suck, and nothing we do on here is true, and all that stuff. And I just can't imagine a human being more stupid than that guy, because it's hard to fake this accent. Now, I do kind of exaggerate it, and I have a voice for Steve Lilly that I use, and I don't always get it right. It's hard to narrate a whole story in that voice. I'm just not that good at it, but I try to. And I was thinking about that the other day. Hey Eric, just stand by, brother. I'll get you. Um, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking, as I write this novel, I'm so glad I'm writing it in third person, because I only have to do his voice when his dialogue comes up. So, anyway, yeah, somebody, of course, I banned them. I mean, you can be critical. I don't care about that. I didn't like this story, or some people are just vicious, they're just vicious. And, they're very, very, very small percentage of the people. But I've gotten a couple of emails from people, like they'll send me an email, and they're not, it'll just be for whatever topic. Hey, we love your show, or whatever. And look, I don't mean this to sound, I try to not come off as, Well, I'll just say I get a lot of emails. I get more emails than I ever dreamed I would get. And I just cannot respond to them all. I can't. And the comments are the same way. I used to I used to respond to every comment up for about 2 years I did. And it got to where you start taking a look and an assessment. Hey Yeti, my brother, hang tight. I got two guys waiting in the backdrop here. Um, I used to answer all of them, and then I started kind of measuring my time and watching what I was doing. I was spending so much time doing that I wasn't getting any work done, and it winds up being that's something you do half of your day, and you just can't do that. But I will tell you, there's a stink bug on my screen. I'm fixing a swatty. Oh, he flew away. I don't know why we got these stink bugs everywhere. But as far as comments go, I can't answer every email. I answer a few that I can get to, but I read every one of them. I read every single email I get. And of course, 80% of them are stories, and my inbox is packed full of them, and I'm getting to all of them. I'm getting to them. And then the comments, I used to answer in every comment, and it's the same thing. I can't do it, but I do. Some of them jump out at me, and I'll heart them and respond and things like that. And so I just wanted you all to know that. Don't take offense to that. Please don't, because I read every one of them. My wife reads every one of them. And sometimes we read them together, and we're just blown away at how nice you folks are. So your comments are being read. They're absolutely being read. Uh, about a year and a half ago, I was doing birthday wishes. I thought that would be a fun thing to do for people, just to, if I can do something to make someone smile, I wanted to do that. After about the third one, I counted up the birthday requests, and I had like 200 of them. Those would be full videos. I mean, 200 birthday wishes would be 20 full videos. And so I just had to drop it, because the reason I did was because I felt like if I left someone out, it might hurt their feelings, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so I just kind of backed away from it. And so they were James was James said the birthday wishes were great, and they were so much fun to do. And I don't know how I kind of planned on just doing kids, kids and men for their wives and wives for their husbands. But I got a bunch of them, people saying, "Hey, next week is my birthday. Would you wish me happy birthday?" And I was glad to do that. That wasn't, um, that's not a big deal, but you kind of wanted to do it for children and kids and stuff like that. And so, y'all, I'm burning up in here. I had this heater on for about 30 minutes before I came out here, hoping to warm it up, so that, because I have to turn it off to do this. And anyway, okay, that was the birthday things. Hey, I just put up a video about 2 hours ago. It's called it's a killer Alaskan Sasquatch. It's a real good video, and the actual visuals in it is me grinding stumps with it. I don't know, you guys. It's real cathartic to watch that. Real satisfying to watch that kind of stuff. I'm gonna get this stink bug. He's back. I'm gonna squash him. He's gonna stink, but y'all see that stink bug? We have a camper open, my camper, the other day, and it's full of them, ladybugs and stink bugs, and we had to fumigate that thing. And so let's see. Okay, let me okay, all right. Eric, stand by. Well, I had another guest lined up, and if you don't mind waiting, I can see you. If you don't mind waiting, just thank you. Eric has started a new podcast, and he wants to talk about that. But I want to introduce you guys. There's a couple more things I want to talk about. Let's get to the fun stuff. I want to introduce you to. Let me get my settings here. This is Tyrell. Tyrell is one of the Yeti brothers. What's going on, my man?
Oh, nada, just working, about to get off of work actually after this, and call it a night, cook some supper and hang out with the girls, probably watch my favorite movie, Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. Oh, cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I'm an 80s kid till I die, man.
Now, here's the deal with the Yeti brothers. I think we had them on a live feed for a few minutes one time, and we had audio problems. It was all on my end. And then those guys and I tried to record some interviews, and I couldn't get that to work. But now that I have this this setup with StreamYard, it's a hell of a lot more easy. And so, as you can see, it's working really good. So, but Tyrell was going to talk about, let's talk about Yeti bars first, just real quick. And then he wants to talk about some things, some experiences he's had that you might really be interested in. So tell us what's going on at the Yeti lair.
Oh, well, first of all, so literally right before we turned on, my earbuds died. So can y'all hear me fine?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, okay, then I can hear y'all just fine too. Okay, so, well, over here, we're literally just making soap and skincare product just nonstop. Like y'all have probably seen on some post and you heard on some of the commercials and stuff like that. We're a family operated business. And basically the handsomer brother, the older Yeti brother, he does all the marketing. He's a real great guy. I'm the younger brother. I'm like Danny DeVito and the twins. I got what was left.
Oh, man, you might be the better looking brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But anyway, we just try to do it as pretty much the best we can. It's a three-legged stool, as my dad has always said. That's how we run this business. There's just the brothers and the dad, and we do the best that we can. And how we got started, really, something we kind of want to talk about was, I was just like a lot of people a couple years back. I lost my job of 15 years and due to COVID and a couple other issues. And, it was actually kind of a blessing in disguise. And I started making soap for my daughter. She has a little bit of a skin allergy. And, we tried everything, bought everything, did all the all natural everything she could, even the over the counter stuff. Just nothing really ever worked. So started looking online and just kind of like everybody else, and just kind of like see what's the main oils that wouldn't hurt someone's skin, and got some recipes, started whipping them up. Almost blew my house up the first time I ever made a batch of soap. But it's like Fight Club. You can blow up anything if you got enough soap.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't blow anything up with soap. That was a joke.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But anyway, so we just make the soap here. We just do everything right here. We don't really have a big facility. To tell you the truth, we have been looking around. We kind of got shut down about 3 months ago about looking for facilities. It just, nobody was selling nothing. We were trying to buy and just nobody would sell. And then we got thinking about it. You know what? Do we really need a big, giant, manufacturing facility where 99.9% of it's empty? And then, and you know how that goes. Basically the customer would be paying for an empty warehouse. So, that's not how we roll. We know what it's like to have everything hiked up on us. We know what it's like to be treated like a number. So here we just do everything as a family. If you want to look behind me, guys, I'm going to kind of get out of the way for a second. Right here is kind of like our station. You can see our banner right here. We've got the Dixie Cryptid mug up there. I know you guys probably can't see too well right there. I can't really move my camera too much. So, but, this is pretty much it. That's all of our oils up there that we use. Everything up there. We're kind of short here, so we keep everything in real good grabbing distance. If it falls, it ain't got long to fall. Neither do we. There's all of our scents right there that we use, our stickers for labeling and stuff like that. Here's some bars that we got out resting right now. They're just kind of curing. And yeah, we just do the best that we can, you know. It's pretty much just a nonstop, one thing after another. You gotta basically wake up, clean, cook, package, clean, go to bed, cook, I'm
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. What we do is we actually have a pretty good technique that we use here. It's called I don't know if anybody in the audience is familiar with it. It's called master batching. It really helps, streamline it to where you only got to really make soap if you know what you're doing about once a quarter,
Right.
So it's a real good gig, and we have a lot of fun with it. Mainly, I just hang out with my dad. The brother does older brother does the marketing. I hang out with my dad. We sit here, laugh, joke, just talk about, you remember this, you remember that.
Oh yeah.
And so, but besides that, man, that's pretty much it. We got blessed with, basically starting a decent company, and we hope to grow. But not too much, because we're trying to keep it to the Yeti Bars family. But through Yeti Bars, tell you the truth, we've had a really good opportunity to give back, to a lot of things in our local communities where the Yeti brothers. Sorry, everybody calls us the Yeti brothers. So,
right,
where the Yeti brothers live, we, as you guys can see from our Facebook and stuff like that, we give to local shelters around here in where we live, and we used to post a lot of videos of us feeding the less fortunate. It kind of felt like it was a little bit of a we don't want to. It felt kind of prideful, and so we still do. We just don't really post that many videos about it anymore. We hope that people buy from us because
yeah,
they like our product, and
right.
then they know it goes to a good cause. So
yeah. I want to tell you that kind of staying where you're at, staying small. You didn't ask for my opinion at all, but let it force you out. Just let that business force you out of that space, and you'll until you just have to have it. It's good to go ahead and expand and anticipate sales, but that's one of the things that I fell in love with you guys over, is because I caught some of those videos and what they do, and you probably have some of the videos still up on your Facebook page, but
oh yeah,
they do stuff. And we used to do this in Memphis and in Jonesboro. When I lived in Jonesboro, we would go just buy sacks full of biscuits and sausage and biscuits and chicken biscuits and things like that. And
yep.
There wasn't a big homeless crowd in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's a smaller town, but Memphis there was. And we would just drive around and just hand biscuits out, and people just appreciate it, And I mean, when it's cold, especially when it's a cold day, it's like, I think we lost Tyrell, but he'll come back in a minute. It looks like he may have a internet problem, but yeah, they give back to the community, and they don't try to showboat it, but they do put some videos up, and and again, I don't think that's to say, hey, look at us. I think it's to say, look what you can do. That's my take on it. And here we go. Got him back.
Sorry about that, guys. I actually I fat thumbed it straight up. I'm not gonna lie to the audience. I fat thumbed it.
Oh, I bet you were cussing like hell when you did that, weren't you?
I was thinking of my older brothers. He's like, yup, that's Ty.
Yeah.
Yup. No, in all honesty, and we appreciate the fact that people like that we do that. We've had a lot of feedback actually on that. We've had a lot of folks say, hey, we thank you guys for being, an extraordinary company and going above and beyond. And the brothers and I and my dad, we've talked about it a lot. We're not, in all honesty, we thank you guys very much. That means a lot to us. It really does. But we're not really doing anything that just every company should be doing, or just in general, a human being should be doing. Not like companies. I'm not like, telling companies to go out there and give away all their money or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you have a heart to help someone or a way, you know,
Yeah.
well, we were given away, so we do. You know, why not? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's the better question. Why not?
Oh, yeah. And it's fun just to not tell anybody, but I'm so glad you put those videos up. And I've heard from other people who have seen those videos and they're like, man, that looks like so much fun. And so it didn't come off like, you kind of walk that thin line of like, are we going to show this or not? And so it has the effect on people that I think you wanted to have.
Well, I was very fortunate where I live. I was a government street sweeper for 15 years, and downtown, you
With
got to
your
work
with your brother.
it. Yep.
No, let's be clear. That wasn't in your adult life. That was when you were a child. I mean, be real specific.
No. So I was going to talk about that, but about feeding the people where we're at.
Oh,
Where we're at.
okay.
Where I live now. So we were government. I was a government worker, and so I got to really meet the people that used to walk around. And so I've been doing this a long time. We've been doing this a long time as a family, and it's really humbling because it's kind of weird to say, but I've had the same. We call it the neighbor program. We've had the same neighbors since I've been in New Mexico. It's hard to it's hard to see sometimes because a lot of it's due to mental illness. It's not a lot of bad things like people think it really is.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that y'all have given us a chance to reach out to them. But one other thing that I did kind of want to talk about was a little bit of the Yeti brothers background, if that's okay with you, Cam.
Yeah, have at it.
All right, y'all.
Hang
So-
tight, Eric. Hang tight, Eric. Go
So
ahead.
what this is gonna do, I'll make it quick, but this is gonna segue into a pretty good story that I hope it don't creep y'all out. This is gonna be kind of supernatural, tell you the truth, it really is. So
Go with it.
so as you guys know from an introduction to Cam, that the Yeti brothers, we had a little bit of a different background growing up. My brother and I, we had a fortunate pleasure to kind of go around traveling the whole United States. Live a little bit in Alaska in a place called Big Lake, Wasilla, all over. Pretty much the only place we didn't really live too much was in the Bible Belt. And we'd always go back to Bozeman, Montana. That was sort of like a home base. We'd go back there about every 3 years. And so anyway, we traveled the country with our father. We would, when you live that kind of lifestyle, you don't really have riches and stuff like that. We grew up very, I'm not saying homeless or anything like that. We just lived the traveler's lifestyle. That
Sure.
I guess you could say we were American gypsies in a way.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that would leave. We had people that would leave us food. When we least expect it, and we really needed it. Where we lived most time, it was seasonal work. We had a really hard working dad. We really did. He was just, man, he was always working. He was just always working. He was a single dad. And anybody out there that's a single dad knows when you're a single parent, you got to choose basically between the dollar menu and rent. So,
Right.
but, we lived all over the country in buses, tents, having a good time. We got to see some amazing things. And we'll tell you more about those amazing things, in a few, if you ever have us back on after this, if I don't fat thumb it anymore.
You're fine.
And,
Yeah.
but an incident that I want to talk about that kind of is, I guess you could say sort of current to this day is, actually I start to get goosebumps just even thinking about it. So, me and the older brother, we used to live in a place called Bozeman, Montana. It's gotten real popular lately because of the show Yellowstone, the Bridger Canyon. They talk about Yellowstone and all that, Bozeman, Montana. Well, that's literally one of the spot that we would always go back to in Montana. But one time, me, the older Yeti brother, and my garage band drummer, his name was Eric. We were going up to Butte, Montana. Anybody knows anything about Butte, Montana, man? Oh, it is on when you go to Butte. It's a basically Irish town on a hill, on a mountainside. And to drive it is like literally driving straight up. But we used to take the back canyon to it. Man, I'm still getting the goosebumps thinking about it. We used to take the back way to it, and on the back way canyon to this place called Butte, Montana, from Bozeman. Off to the right of this canyon, about halfway up it, when it gets real steep, right next to a tunnel entrance for a train. Off to the right side of the road is about 200 yards off to the back in the brush. It's well known that there's a infant cemetery from way back, way back. And we were always told, don't go mess with it, don't go mess with it. Well, of course, us being kids or teenagers, we were driving up that mountain and we finally did it, man. We finally got the Wappos to do it. We pulled over, we got out, and we walked back in there. The older brother's leading the way. It's me, then it's my buddy. And right when we're getting back in there, we start seeing some kind of like, looking like Blair Witch stuff, things hanging in the trees and objects. And we're like, oh, this is, oh, whatever. And then the farther we go, man, I'm getting, the farther we go in there, the more and more it just get more objects in the trees. And then we start seeing little doll pieces hanging in the trees and little graves and stuff like that. And then my brother turns around. He goes, guys, you know what? We're not supposed to be here. You know what? And he looked right at me. I'm like, you're right. Dad said, don't come here. Guys, we need to vamonos. We need to get out of here right now. So we turn around and we literally start hightailing it back to the car. So that's not even really the scary part. So here's the really scary part for me. When we were getting back in the car, off to the left, remember how I told you there was a train tunnel entrance in that canyon when you pulled up? Well, in that train tunnel entrance, you could see it perfectly from the road off to your left, down in that little bit of a canyon about 50 feet off the road. And when we got in that little car of Eric's, I looked off, and I can't explain it. I saw a pale man wearing kind of like a 1929 like vanilla suit with a really short hat, and he just smiled at me. Oh man, and he just smiled at me and he waved. And you can ask any of the Yeti brother, the dad, if you ever get a chance to talk to him. At that moment is when I had my first panic attack ever. And since then, I've had panic attacks. But here's the weird thing: before those panic attacks happen, is that I see that individual in my head every single time, and I don't know if it's a demon. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But every time that it's around or I feel these feelings, I mean, I get like the goosebumps. I get the chills. I mean, I get freaked out. And then one time after I moved to New Mexico, this is where it started getting really personable for me, like even more, was I was sleeping one night. And I can't explain it, but when that happened, or when I was sleeping, I heard a voice in my head and it said, "My name is Sam." And I kind of woke up. I went back to sleep. And then literally I had this riddle in my head ever since then. It says, or how did it go in my head? I even wrote a few songs about it. It's just terrifying. I'm trying to recall. I'm kind of nervous. Well, I'll remember it. I wrote it down in my songbook. I kind of don't even want to recount it just because I got the willies just thinking about it right now. But every time that happens, man, I see Sam's face, and that's kind of what I named him too. And he just looks like an old man waiting for a train, wearing like I don't know if it's called a baller's hat or whatever, but you see those people singing show tunes, they're always wearing those little short hats like that. But yeah, that's just one of my very many instances in life. The older Yeti brother, he has some, but you'll hear those at another time. But yeah, through our travels, we've had a lot of crazy stuff happen, both explainable and very unexplainable, but through it all, man, we stayed a family. It's been a great ride. We're having a great ride with you guys, the Dixie Nation. We're working hard here. We really are. And I'm just doing our best, really, to treat our customers how we want to be treated. And that's just like any other Yeti. You know what? Just trying to hide from everybody.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. And I'm curious, you say you have other experiences with this paranormal kind of thing. Do you think there's something about you guys that brings that on, or do you think it's just coincidence or what?
Could I be very candid? I do think it actually is my family. I do. I
Okay.
really do. I can't explain this, and I never have been able to, but it's hard. Everywhere we've gone, we've had massive influence on people. People always want to be around us, talk to us, know where we've been, know where we're going, because it's kind of like they know we're travelers. And even when we lived in Alaska, we were coming back from school one day, and above us, all three of us, we see this giant red thing. We honestly thought a comet was crashing into the earth, and we saw it clear as day. We pulled over. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. But I do believe these experiences happen to us. Yeah. And like I said, you're going to hear some, probably come soon, even more. But to be honest, the electricity don't really work right around the other Yeti family members. When they start getting mad, stuff like that, oh man, electricity stops working. Things that never break down stop working, like the internet stops working. And I have here at the lair, we got the best internet possible. You know what I mean? Their emotions directly affect electricity, if I say it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do. I believe.
Well, maybe we can get you guys on together and to talk about some of your shared experiences and all. But hey,
oh man,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Thanks for sharing that. I'm getting to the point where I need to move on to these other guys.
Absolutely.
Real. But let me ask you real quick: Are you guys planning any new products or anything coming up that you'd like to talk about real quick? Do you want to talk about the Australia thing, or you want to wait till their COVID problem is over?
You know what? We tried to open up to Australia, and we got the window to do it, and then the window closed directly afterwards due to COVID-19. So we had to immediately stop shipping to Australia. For all of our people down under, we really do. We humbly apologize about that. And just to make it clear, it's actually not that we won't ship to you guys. It's actually that Australia is not accepting parcels from the United States right now of any fashion. So
yeah.
But and as far as products go, yes, we're gonna probably be changing things up, how things look. We're gonna keep all of our scents the same. A couple of them we may get rid of, try some new things. That's the good thing, is we can always keep, switching it up a little bit. We're always going to keep our main hitters, you know what I mean? But as we get more feedback, we've had a lot of questions about why we don't do shampoo and stuff like that. And actually, our bars are also shampoo bars. They're what's basically known as all bars. But
yeah, my grandkids wash their hair with it, they say, because it's real gentle. It's not plus it's kids' hair, so who cares, right?
yeah, they cut their arm off and it grows back right in front. They could just watch it. Look at that.
By the way, all of my grandkids had COVID the last couple of weeks. All of my kids had it. My daughter and her husband had it last year through the first round, the first year it was out. And then we were all together for Christmas, and somebody must have had it. And the only people that didn't get it are me and my wife.
Oh,
I'm wondering if I've had it and didn't know it, because everybody got it, and they've all recovered.
You know what?
We do have two friends who died from it through the summer. It's really sad, because it can be, it's deadly to some people, and it might be to me when I get it. I don't know, but
you know what? We've lost a few people due to COVID, and you know what? We're trying to actually here at the lair, we're trying to get a little bit of our health in order. We just recently lost another dear family member that was extremely close, extremely close. And
I'm sorry.
No, it just is what it is, honestly. But just keep your health in check. Keep your vitamins in check. Just do the best you can to do the best you, and be well, be blessed. That's all you can do.
Johnny Landon is asking, when is Yeti's having a big sale again? I can answer that. The sale from Christmas is still going on. I just
Basically.
looked at their website today, and all their bars are like 20% off. Plus, if you use the code DC10 at checkout, you get another 10% off. These guys are real good about that. They don't want to screw anybody over. They don't want to gouge you or anything like that. And they want to be fair about this discount code. So whatever sale they're running, you can tack the 10% onto that. And look, I talk about them. I don't. YouTube asks me all the time, is this paid sponsorship? And I say, no, it's not paid sponsorship. I just love these guys, and they pay me a little stipend at the end of the month. And it's not that's not the driving force. It's I really like what they're doing, and I love these guys. And sometimes I don't talk about Yeti bars, and I feel kind of bad, but people get sick of hearing the same, they have to deal with commercials anyway in YouTube. And
hey, I get tired of my own crap.
oh, I know. And whenever I do it, sometimes I go, oh, no, but I love the Yeti guys. I'm going to tell people about Yeti bars. And there was a guy a minute ago who was like, oh, man, is this just another commercial? You know what? You can just get the off the leave, dude. Just leave. Oh, man. Oh, people like that drive me up the wall.
I don't know, man. I guess I could start putting, some minoxidil in the products to start growing hair everywhere. You know what I mean? Just go right at it.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? We really appreciate you guys. We really do. We appreciate you, Cam. We just can't say enough. Every customer we've had has been great. Even the ones that come at us angry once we talk to them and they realize that, they're actually going to talk to a real person. They've been great about it. Even people who haven't bought from us, they still decided not to. Just say, hey, you know what? Thank you for at least answering back and treating us like real people. And, that's all we can ask for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, things don't go just perfect all the time. I mean, I make mistakes in my job, and people make mistakes. So, listen, thanks for coming on. I'm going to get these guys. They've been waiting here for about 40 minutes to come on, but thank you for sharing your story with us and telling us a little bit more about making the bars. You ever plan on doing any videos of the actual manufacturing process?
Actually, me and the brother talked about that. We do. We're going to kind of show everybody our technique. Yeah. Everybody always thinks when they see the videos that, it's big old vats of stuff coming down and all that. On the contrary, my friend.
So it's all made in a small area, and they do a tremendous amount of business. Shoot that video and send it to me, and I'll run it as a B-roll in a story video.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I love that. We love your commentary.
Oh, the last video is a stump grinder. It's my stump grinder going back and forth. I just put whatever I can think of in there. So
I saw that. We'll throw in one of us making it, pouring it, and we'll do the chopping sound too. That way everybody can get real relaxed.
Yeah, whatever, man. Sounds satisfying. Thanks, Tyrell. I appreciate it. Tell older brother we said hello.
Hey, we will. You guys just be well and be blessed.
All right. See you, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, let me bring in a couple of guys who are working on a new podcast, and I've talked to these guys before.
Hey,
Eric Spinner and Nate Moyer. How are you guys doing?
Better and better.
That's good.
Yeah, everything's going great.
Thanks for having us on.
I could hear both of you and everything. So, how's the podcast going?
We're excited. It just dropped actually on Monday night, and we're planning on doing another premiere Friday at 8 o'clock. So, got the channel up and already have a few subscribers. And hey, we're excited to bring these stories to the listeners. Nathan and I.
Tell us is it a YouTube channel? Because you were originally going to broadcast that out to the podcast network.
Absolutely, and I just wanted to start off by saying happy healthy new year to you, of course, and hopefully that person on the Alaskan Killer episode you just aired, our prayers will be with him and his family too, and if Tyrell needs any nutritional guidance, I'm happy to help him with any anxiety or panic attacks. But
Eric owns a
health food store.
Yeah, health food store, and he was telling me all about that when we were talking. What's the name of your channel?
Shameless self-promotion. Well, my store is Health Haven in Medford, New Jersey, Health Haven 2, but the channel is Squatch Talks Podcast on YouTube, and that's what it'll be on the podcast as well. We just haven't gone on to, I was going to do Buzzsprouts like I was talking, but then you were talking about Podbean. I'm not sure which one we're going to ultimately go with. So we're just waiting on some artwork.
Okay. All right, good deal.
But the first episode's out. We're excited, and Nathan and I are going to record another one tonight, as a matter of fact.
Oh, good. That's great. So, how are you enjoying the creative process with all of this,
Nate?
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of trouble with my audio right now, so I apologize.
First day with his new mic, Cam.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Everything's on a delay. I don't understand, but I appreciate you having us on, and it's a lot of fun.
You're synced up pretty good right here. So
sound good to me, Nathan. Yeah, and we're excited to improve as we go. It's a learning curve, just like you were telling. I really, again, greatly appreciate you taking the time and speaking with me last month, and the pointers you gave me, and and I took what you told us, and we're actually putting it into action. So it's exciting, and we have a lot of stories to share, because we've been out doing this for many, many years, and both of us have been out in the field and have taken a lot of new people out on expeditions with us and shared our knowledge and expertise in the field of research. So they take what they learn and bring it back to where they live, and hopefully continue to do the research in their areas.
Let's dig in on your podcast. So the folks that are listening, we got 480 people in here now on Facebook. And so tell us what is the form before, let's get them interested in coming over. Are you doing what I do, or are you just
we love what you do, Cam? It's the greatest, and I enjoy listening to it. And what we do, we're real researchers talking real stories and real encounters. That's what basically sets us apart a little bit from people who have either guests on or tell other people's encounters, whatever. We're actually talking about things that we've done ourselves, and I think that's exciting.
So you guys have enough miles under your belt that you've probably got hundreds of stories to tell about your adventures out there, right?
You like my studio behind me here with the
I love it, man.
These are actual podcast or trackcasts.
Oh, very good. Look at that.
Yeah, this one's from New Jersey.
Wow. And Nate, are you part of the research team too? So all you guys do you guys go out in the field together?
Yeah, we get together as much as we can. I'm in Pennsylvania and he's in New Jersey, but we get together as much as we can, and we have our own research areas too, of course. But
we assist one another on expeditions that we do for the BFRO, and we also have our own organization. It's NASBRO, North American Sasquatch Bigfoot Researchers Organization. I know, a mouthful, but it's at nasbro.net, and also we are on Facebook at North American Sasquatch. So that's where we're going to host a lot of the premieres that we do, the airing of the episodes.
Okay. Awesome. That's great.
And hopefully one day we'll have as many fans enjoying listening to us as you do. Because,
well,
that's a goal.
You would be very fortunate like me, because that sure as hell wasn't the plan for mine. I
know you told me, but it's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. And we love sharing our knowledge and doing this with people and getting outdoors. So I was late to the show last time when you had your last live feed.
Yeah, it was kind of unannounced, so
it was cool. I listened, and I was I was dying to tell you the story when I mentioned to you when we were speaking on the phone. Excuse me. I was laying in my tent in New York on a southern New York expedition at almost 5 in the morning, right? Listening to you talk about Dogman, and this was after a night with my team out at a spot where we recorded some mournful female howls, over a dozen howls. I get back to base camp around 4 a.m. and I ate a cold burger off the grill, and then I wound up getting into my tent, and at about 10:05, I'm listening to you in one ear about Dogman, and on the other ear, I'm hearing the owl hooting from up on the ridge above us, across from base camp, and I hear crunch, 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 crunch.
Man.
Something approaches my tent, and I'm laying on my back in my cot, okay, and the camera, the phone is illuminating me, and the fire is to my right, that's illuminating me, and the individual came up on my left, right, so I go, here we go. I yanked the earbud out of my ear, right? And I'm thinking like, oh boy, I'm waiting for the hand to come through the tent, as it happened to me in Pennsylvania on my first expedition, right? So I'm having PTSD. And I said, you know what? I'm looking back and forth, and I realized the phone's illuminating me, so I knocked it over, right? And I said, oh, if it's my time to go, I'm going to die doing what I love. And I rolled over and went to sleep. Just a short, brief, story to share.
When things are tense and you can't get out and there's nothing else to do, you might as well I was listening to a pastor say this not long ago. He says, you just have to rest in the tension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there's nothing you can do, you can't figure it out. There's nothing available to change your situation. Just roll with it, and that's obviously what you did. So
that's right. I always say everything works out as it should.
Yeah.
Maybe not in my time, but so no, we're having a blast. And we have a lot of people that we know in the field of research. So of course, if we ever run out of material, we're going to be bringing on other guests. Of course, we have our co-host Brian Spinner. He shares my last name, but we're not actually related. My friend and research partner Art Mack, Kevin. We've got so many people that we've made part of this family, because it really does become like family after going out. We've got each other's backs out there. You're looking for an 8.5 foot tall, creature that can tear your arms and legs off. It's good to have people like Nathan and Brian, who I know have my back.
Yeah. Yeah, you need somebody to look for the snakes and spiders too. Don't forget about them. They're out there too.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I always tell you mentioned your family having COVID. I think my wife just got home from work and she's not feeling well. And of course she's up in her head thinking she has it now. But, I always say, I don't have to run faster than Bigfoot, right? I just have to run faster than you.
Right.
One of the little jokes we take with us on our expeditions,
Oh yeah. Nate, do you have any experiences you come pop in your mind right here?
Yeah, it's hard to pick from all of them, but
I don't want to put you on the spot, and if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I just thought I would ask.
Oh no, that's all right.
Okay.
The same expedition Eric was talking about. I was standing around a fire, and everybody went for a walk first night before everybody really got there. My daughter and I stayed back, and as soon as everybody left, something started circling the camp and the campfire where I was. Just kept walking around left to right, kept getting closer. It was taking some long strides, some long heavy strides, and it just kept circling me and getting closer, but never came within the firelight. I was circling with my thermal. I couldn't ever catch up to it where it was. It was always a little bit out of sight. Just couldn't see it, but it sounded big. Then it started throwing rocks at me. Started throwing rocks at the camper where my daughter was sleeping. She came out and thought I was messing with her, but but yeah, it's we've had plenty of experiences,
and I was leading the team around the loop behind base camp. Okay. And so when we came back around, I see Nathan standing there with his back against a tree, holding the night vision or the thermal,
yeah.
scared and like, doing one of these things where he's looking back and forth.
I was looking for everything. It was.
It's unnerving sometimes,
Sometimes. I mean, I was completely alone at that point when she went to bed in a camper. I had nothing around me, and I just kept looking. Just couldn't catch it though. I was ready. Had my finger on the camera button. I was going to get myself a picture.
Yeah, and we did have rocks thrown on that expedition. Sticks were thrown at some of the attendees, so a lot of activity. And then we just had a couple this fall in our areas, one in my area of southern New Jersey, and we had activity, including whoops and track finds and things thrown at us. Nathan's expedition was in Pennsylvania, and we had a great time on that one. He had great demonstrations. We had, again, a lot of activity. A couple of attendees thought they saw an individual. We did a track casting demo on an actual track.
Yeah, found the track down the road.
And then on the last night again, I led a team up on a ridge called Dead Woman's Hollow. And not 1 minute after we set up our little base camp on the trail, we got 3 howls from across the ridge. And this was not coyote. It wasn't anything else. It was unmistakably Sasquatch. And me, I'm the leader, and I forgot my camp chair in the truck. I didn't have my digital recorder on. Okay. I mean, totally unprepared, but I managed to get it on, and I recorded 2 out of the 3 howls. And I'm about to send it off to one of our data and audio analysts to have him check it out and see what he can pick up from it. But amazing stuff. We're just having a lot of fun. And it's consuming, it becomes an obsession, like you were saying with the podcast. But hey, if it's something that I've turned a passion of mine into something you can actually get, recompense for, it's even better,
Yeah, like they say, a guy who loves what he does never works a day in his life. So
that's right.
Exactly.
I'm curious, and this, I'm not being facetious, but you talk to researchers and they have tons of stories, just like I'm sure you. Do you ever get skunked? Do you ever just get out there and get totally waxed? Nothing happens for
more times than not.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, when you're out as often as I am, definitely. I was out last Thursday night and not a peep, and this was in an area where we've had consistent activity. But no, many times my friend Art and I, because we're here in New Jersey, we'll go out and we won't hear anything. And but hey, a bad night squatching beats a good day working any day.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit out there than in front of the TV.
That's right. That's what I was going to say.
And I came across a skunk once on my daytime hikes, my solo hikes. I did, and this was earlier in my squatching career. And I said to him, I said, "Okay, you go that way. I'm going to go this way." But that morning, it was a Sunday morning, and I was putting out a trail camera and leaving some bait. I wound up having a back and forth volley with wood knocks, with something out in the forest, and it was getting closer. And eventually, like I said, I was by myself, and eventually I said, I got to get to church, so I'll talk to you later. And I left.
Oh man. Well, I'm so happy you got it going and you got it started. As a matter of fact, I haven't thought about you for a month or so. I just get so busy and all. And I'm glad that you
actually did it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you came on tonight, because this is great. And so I'm going to go straight over to Squat. Did I spell it right? Squatch
Talks podcast.
Squatch Talks podcast. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go over and subscribe as soon as I get done with this live feed. And I can't wait to hear what you've got up so far.
I'm thrilled.
I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And to anyone else out there who's thinking about doing this type of thing, don't be afraid of it. I did it. I'm as big a dumbass as you'll ever meet, and I figured it out. These guys are smart guys, and they figured it out. So anybody in between there can do this, and I encourage everybody. I love everybody to do what they love and what they have an interest in, and don't think
we just saw how much fun you're having too.
Yeah, well, I do have fun. I will tell you this though, I get burnout on occasion, but it's not doing the podcast. It's working. It's working. And then I'll usually get up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll work on the podcast for a couple of hours, and then I do my regular job. And by 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm shot. So I get about 2 hours a day to do it. But if you do that for 3 or 4 months straight, I mean, I work 7 days a week. I never, you can ask my wife, I never take a day off. And she's fine with it. She gets to do whatever she wants to do, And we
alone time.
Yeah. And we come together at night. But I get burnt out, and it's usually around a holiday. And so I haven't put out a Bigfoot podcast. I wanted to do something different, so I did a Christmas podcast, and I did a live feed, and then I think I did something else. But now I'm recharged and raring to go. So I got a podcast out today, and we're doing this tonight, and I'm just raring to go. So
it's awesome. Yeah. Well, again, I can't tell you. I listen to you every night. Basically, I go to sleep with the earbud in and fall asleep listening to your stories, and it's meant a lot to me. And I really do appreciate you and the listeners and the what do we call it? The family name that you have with your peeps. I forget now.
Our people.
Our
my
people.
Yeah.
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 Our people.
Well, that's
man.
I think that's kind of a universal thing. If you ran into a bunch of I don't know, if you were at a health food convention, which I'm sure you've been
Trade
to.
show.
Yeah, you would say those are my people. We all have this in common,
Mhm.
and you do it with family. You look, oh, those are my people right there. Well, sometimes it's just a group of nice people, and you're like, those are my people, and that's where it comes from. And
Mhm.
there was no thought to that, and I haven't said that in forever, so I might have to bring that up in another podcast. But
you had said to me if we get about a dozen episodes done to give you a call, and you might have us on as guests. So I honestly didn't expect this tonight. I really do appreciate you having us on, and we're going to keep up doing our part and doing the work, and we won't run out of stories because we're continuously going out digging up more.
Yeah. Right. So is your podcast visual like this, or is it just audio with some kind of background?
First couple are visual. So again, I'm a Dumas myself, and Monday when we were supposed to premiere it on Facebook, I thought I had it set up for correctly to do like a live kind of premiere, and it didn't work right. I couldn't even get on, so there was only a limited number of people who got on. So again, Friday at 8:00, we're going to do the second episode in other premiere on Facebook. Okay, at 8:00 on North American Sasquatch Bigfoot Researchers Organization. Shameful self-promotion, but yeah, so I make mistakes, and at least I have the ability today to seek guidance from people who know more than I do. You know what I mean? So I contacted another friend of mine who I've done other podcasts on his paranormal channel with him, and he actually took the time to make a little video to send me how to do it properly. So hopefully Friday will go smoother.
Yeah, it will. So are these live podcasts you're doing, or are they recorded?
Recorded. Yeah, I do the editing, and at this point, but again, it's a work in progress, So hey, if I get my act together, maybe you'll be gracious enough to come on one day as a guest of our podcast.
Oh, I'd be glad to. I don't do too many of those.
I know.
I agreed to do one. I'm recording one on the 16th, and that's probably the first one I've done in 6 or 8 months. I haven't been on anybody's show. I've been asked a few times, but I don't have anything to say. This guy invited me. He's got a real popular podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but I listened to it. I just can't remember the name of it. And he had sent me an email. And it sat in my inbox for a month, and I kept looking at it, and I'll get to that later. And so finally, I responded to him. I said, look, I don't have anything to add to this topic. I just like the stories. You're looking for people like you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy. But and I'm not going to act like I'm that guy, because I think people would sniff that out in a minute.
True.
And, so all I have to contribute is maybe funny stories or serious stories. But he said, no, he goes, we'll get on for 2 hours. We'll have a blast. I'm like, all right, lead the way. You lead the way, and I'll jump in there with you. So
that's a lot of time to fill, But no, hey, I was gonna say we're gonna keep on keeping on, and hopefully this will just continue to grow, and people will find what we say interesting. They will want to keep listening,
Yeah. So get with me in a month or so. Maybe we'll do this again, and I
will hold you to that.
Yeah. If you need a short little story narrated, or any part of an intro narrated or something, just let me know. Not that you would want me to, but I'm just saying I'm available to help.
Are you kidding? It would be an honor.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off and answer some questions. I'm seeing them pop up in this comment section. Right. So, and I told my wife I would only stay on for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And I got to go check up on my wife because she came home not feeling good. So I appreciate you and your peeps, our people, and I wish everybody a happy, healthy New Year. Stay safe and stay well.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Tell your wife we're thinking about her. Thanks, Eric.
Bye,
Nate. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, Nate.
All right. Okay. Surprise guests that I have no plans of people coming in here, and we just have the nicest people come in, and I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Man, this camera is driving me nuts. I'm gonna move it over here. Y'all just have to look at the side of my head. All right, there were some questions. Oh, someone's asked about Steve Lilly, and let me get this banner off here. Someone has asked about Steve Lilly. When is number 10 going to be out? And I haven't even started it, but I've got an idea for the story, and it's should be pretty good if I can write a good one. I wasn't real happy with number 9. It just didn't feel like it was in the vein of the Steve Lilly. I mean, it was, but it wasn't quite as rough as the others. And so I'm going to put this invitation out again. If you guys would like to, I'm going to stay on about another 45 minutes and just shoot the bull. Here's my email address down at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to get it to quit tickering. Y'all hang with me here. I'm just trying to figure all this out. There's my email address. Let me just make sure I spelled it right. Yep. If you want to come on and just talk, say hi to everybody. Man, this blue light in here is crazy, isn't it? I'm going to turn that blue light on. Those are my little changey lights, man. See my little clicker there? Someone asked if that was my wife doing the stump grinder on the video that I uploaded today. Yeah, that's my old lady. I had her out there grinding the stump. So let me get back to the comments. Now I can see the comments. All right. Oh, look at this. Our friends in Australia, which is a great country, are being hammered by their own government in an unbelievable way from the news I'm seeing. If the news I'm seeing is right, then to me, it's ridiculous. And so are we. And there's a lot of unreasonable things being asked of us and being told to us. I told you guys that a lot of my family members have COVID. Every single one of them was vaccinated. Every single one. Now, YouTube will probably take this video off, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's pretty. It's not scary, it's just a virus, but anyway, there's that. Okay, there's a couple other things I was going to talk about. I talked about the latest video. You guys ever listen to true crime podcasts? I'll tell you a podcast that I was listening to. Actually, I listened to it about 6 or 8 months ago, and I re-listened to it this past week, and it's called In the Red Clay. It's the story of Billy Sunday Burt down in, let's see, what town? Winder, Georgia. I think it's just east of Atlanta. Billy Sunday Burt was once said to be the most dangerous man in Georgia, and he killed a lot of people. But the podcast is about Billy Sunday Burt's dead now. He passed away, I think, in the late 90s, but it's an 8 or 10, maybe 12 episode podcast, and it to me, it is a story of how much a boy loves his father. if you listen to the whole podcast, his son, Stony Burt, is basically telling the story with the podcast host. His name is Sean. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he tells the story of his father. And when you get to the 10th or 11th, the last two episodes, I'm telling you, as bad as his father was and as many people as his father hurt. Now, here's the thing about these organized crime guys. They don't hurt civilians. They don't mess with people just outside, just random people. They're killing each other is what it is. And most of the people knew the life. They knew how the life went. So, I mean, you kind of expect it when you get in that kind of thing. But to listen to this guy talk about his father it just tore me up. How much he loved his dad and how much he idolized his dad. And it's a testament to how much influence we have as fathers with our sons and daughters. So I highly recommend that. You guys go check out the podcast In the Red Clay. It's really good. But I was listening to that podcast and I started thinking, I would love to do something like this, either this or a true crime podcast or some story on a local unsolved mystery, something like that. I think I'd prefer to do a story about a story of redemption or something and do a podcast on that, to where I just kind of narrate little pieces of it, but I bring the whole story together. I actually even called the chief of police in our town today and he hasn't called me back. I guess he doesn't want to do one, or he thinks I'm, I don't know, just a crackpot or whatever, but that's fine. You kind of run into that when you do this. But hey, if there's any law enforcement people, small town law enforcement people, if you have if there is a mystery or a case or something that you'd like to bring out of the shadows and bring forward and get people talking and bring attention to the case, I would be interested in talking to you about it. You can email me at the email right there on the screen. Kind of let me know, but I know there's 473 people in here right now, and there's got to be a sheriff's deputy or a small city cop, a cop from a smaller town who has a case that's probably bugged him like crazy, for years. But if that's the case, just send me an email and man, we'll talk, because I don't know. It would probably take a lot of time and effort to do one like that. And I can't really do one real far away from here because I do have a job, but that would be, I think that would be something to just look at. I don't know that I could do it, but I would love to consider it, try to figure out if I could do it. So what kind of true crime podcast do you guys watch? Drop them in the comments. I'm seeing a couple. You can tell I'm not a super diehard, and it drives people crazy that I'm not just talking about Bigfoot 100% of the time. There are so many other things that I'm interested in, along with the Bigfoot stories. But okay, well, last time I had people that I couldn't get to come in on the podcast or the live stream, and now I can't get anybody. If you want to come in and talk, there's the email address down at the bottom of the screen. Send me an email. I'll send you a link back and you can get on here with me. See, Shane says he likes the mafia, the organized crime genre. I do too. That's always interesting. I've been listening to, watching a YouTube channel by Michael Franchise. I think that's his name. He's a guy who went to prison for about 10 years. He was in the Colombo family in New York. He had that gas tax fraud thing going on. He has a really interesting channel, and he tells stories of old mob stories, and he does movies. He'll review mob movies. There's hundreds of mob movies out there, and John Thompson says he loves unsolved mysteries. I agree. I'm with you, man. Let's see. There was one I saw. I'm going to look at my podcast list. I'm going to give y'all some names of podcasts that I follow or have followed and that I think they're good. Okay. Here's one I've been listening to. The people who like organized crime. There's a podcast called Deep Cover, and it's about Joe Pastone, who was Donnie Brasco in New York, who actually infiltrated the mob. It's the podcast is called Deep Cover, The Real Donnie Brasco. It's a great podcast. He tells stories about his time in the, when he had worked his way in the mob. Let's see, there's in the Red Clay. There was a podcast I listened to called Bardstown. It was pretty good. It wasn't just the best. And that's the podcast that I listen to on my big computer, but I'll look at my phone here. I know this is boring. I'm listening to one now called Fox Hunter. It's a story of a woman named Rhonda Coleman in Hazelhurst, Georgia. She went missing 30 years ago. And the same guy who produced In the Red Clay is doing Fox Hunter. And it's a good crime cold case story. Let's see here. Of course, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot. I don't like the MMA shows that he does, but pretty much any other interview he does, I like it. Here's another podcast. It's called American Coyote. It's about a guy, an American who made a fortune bringing illegals up from Mexico into the United States in the 80s and 90s. This was long before it became big news here. Although he did get caught, and he went to prison for it. There's a podcast called Our American Stories. They haven't uploaded one in months. I think the podcast is over, but it's all still up. True Crime Reporter with Robert Riggs is a pretty good one. What I didn't like about the Robert Riggs, the True Crime Reporter podcast was it's almost like a reality TV. You ever watching these reality TV shows and you watch 10 minutes of it and it goes to a commercial. And then when it comes back on, it rehashes the last 7 minutes of the first 10 minutes that you watched. And then it adds 3 more minutes, goes to a commercial. And it's like throughout the whole episode, you get a 30-minute or an hour episode. You get about 10% of that time with new material. The rest of it, they come back and they rehash what they did right before the commercial. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, that's kind of how this True Crime Reporter works. I like The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe. And I also subscribe to my own podcast, What If It's True podcast. And I have subscriptions to others, but I don't really listen to them. They're not serial podcasts. They're, some of them are political people. Some of them are, but I don't really. So those are the ones. I probably have some other ones there was one called Dr. Death. That's it. The reason I got interested in that was, that guy was from Memphis. Have y'all listened to Dr. Death? Anybody out there listen to Dr. Death? If you haven't, it's an old podcast and it came out 4 or 5 years ago. But it came out and it's very popular and you just have to listen to it. It's 100% true. And the guy went to high school in Memphis. He graduated after me, so I wouldn't have known him, but he went to one of the schools that was kind of in our circle of schools. And so it was Dr. Death. It will blow you away what this guy actually did. All right, I got somebody here who would like to come in. Edward, I'm going to send you a link. He has a ghost story he wants to share. And I think that's just dandy. Let's see if he'll jump in here with us. I have another person who's had an encounter with Bigfoot. She says she's scared to do this, but we're going Rhonda, just hold on. I'm gonna wait and see if this other fella jumps in. His email came in before yours. All right, now all of a sudden I've got several. My phone's kind of going crazy. We'll give this first guy, here he is. All right, all I see down here is Ed. Let's add him to the screen. Hey Ed, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
You've got to go. Well, first let's find out a little bit about you. Where you live? Where are you from?
So, Hartford, right outside in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah.
People in Connecticut watch a redneck in Mississippi tell Bigfoot stories? You're crazy, man.
In the military, you get to meet all sorts of people. My best friend, Navy SEAL, he's a redneck. So, yeah. But
we're not so bad, are we?
For you. So I was stationed in Sacramento, California, back in early 2000, and it was when Tommy Boy came out, the movie. If anybody ever saw it,
yeah, Chris Farley,
yes. And I never saw it before. And before my wife was to come be stationed with me, I was living in the dorms, and I was on the top floor of the dorms. And if you ever been to McClellan Air Force Base, it is an old supply base for the World War II, World War I, and so that's where everybody that got shipped out of went to Hawaii or went to war. Anyway, so they are laughing in the next room, and I go over and I want to find out what's going on. So they're watching this movie, Chris Farley, and it was right at the scene where he said, try this, the bees, just do what I do, and the bees and the cops come out and says I'm allergic to bees, and they let them go, and it was funny, and I thought it was just the most hilarious thing. Anyway, we watched the rest of the movie. Got to go to work in the morning. Don't want to be in trouble. I go to my room, and there's nothing in my room because I didn't want nothing in there because I was getting my stuff shipped in from Connecticut. So I wanted to make sure I had room in there so I had to put it in storage. So the only thing in my room was a dresser, my clock, which had red numbers on it, and my clothes, and that's it. So my bed was all the way on the other side. Now, if you've ever been to Sacramento, California, at palm trees, it's beautiful. It's real nice. So it was beautiful. I was laughing. It's the middle of the night. I'm looking outside. I'm going to bed, and I'm like, man, I'm going to get so much in trouble. But I'm laughing. I'm giggling. And I just look over to look at the clock to see what time it was. And as I rolled over, and I got the moonlight going through my window, and I looked over across the room, and I'm trying to focus on the numbers inside the room on my dresser. Right in front of me is a ghost looking at the clock. And you can see the numbers of the clock, the red numbers, reflecting off his glasses and illuminating the front part of him. And the only reason I sat up in bed and I was like, shit, hey, you. And he looked at me, turned, and I scared him. And he backed away from the light. And I went, I wasn't scared. And I said, you know what? I saw you. You know, I saw you. We cool. you know, don't, I ain't gonna bother you. I ain't gonna be here long. You know, you do your thing, I do my thing.
You're the only guy I've ever met who actually scared a ghost. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
and that was and I can't believe that he actually acknowledged me, you know. And I say it was
Yeah.
him because you can see the crew cut, you can see, you know, the front of him. And so I went to work the next day, and I was telling the guys at work what had happened. And there was a grumpy civilian guy that never sat with us, always sat in the back, and he heard what I was saying. And he called me over, and I was like, oh, snap, am I in trouble? And he says, those dorms were for people that were in trouble, that did stuff to get out of war. And I said, what are you talking about? And he says, I was stationed here back then. Apparently not in World War II, but he said he was stationed here a long time ago. And he said that those dorms were made for people who went AWOL, and they brought it back. And what they did was they rather commit suicide than go to war. And that's the dorms where they kept them in. And I'm like, oh, hell. And he goes, I believe you. And I said, well, I mean, he was there. There was no mistaking it. It was like me and you talking right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had a lot
Was
of
it like
experience.
like your size, human size, or was it small or big? Or...
Maybe I'm 6'1". He maybe 5'8", 5'9".
Like, could you see through it? Could
Yeah,
you see?
you just could see where the red was shining on him. But the what got me was his glasses, and you can see the reflection of the numbers on his glasses. And as he turned to me, his face was like, "Oh snap, he can see me." And so, I mean,
So without the red lights from the clock, would you have been able to see him, or is that what illuminated him?
That's what illuminated him, and I'm pretty sure if the clock wasn't on, you know, I wouldn't have seen him. I wouldn't have seen him. And it wasn't the whole body, it was just what the red can and like I said, what made me laugh was when I got you. You know what I mean? I scared you, so
Were you laughing then? Were you laughing then?
Yeah, I was giggling.
Okay.
And I wasn't scared because I got you. You know, we cool. I saw you. There ain't no mystery no more. You know, this. So, I have other stories. I have another one if you want, if you have time. I don't want to hog everybody's time up here, but before I went to the military, I was dating this girl, and she was my neighbor, so we kind of grew up with each other, and as a courtesy, their mother knew me, you know, from when we were little. We would leave the door cracked. And so when we're in the room doing what we're doing, or, you know, spending time, as a courtesy, we would never close the door. So one day her mother and father wasn't home, and, you know, we just normally left the door cracked. And we were laying there and watching TV. And I said, there he goes. And she says, do you see him too? And what it was a shadow person. It was a shadow guy that was always looking in the door at us. And he would only peek in. You can see like the outline of a person. And I thought I was crazy for a while because I've seen him before. And it was only at her place, not mine. So she was crazy. so, so, so she says, he's there all the time watching me. And I'm like, why didn't you ever say anything? And she's like, I didn't want to say nothing. So her father and mother ended up divorcing. She ended up moving across town with her mother, and they lived in an apartment. Same rules applied, you know, keep the door cracked and everything. So we're in a room now again, and it's the moonlight shining through, and it's dark and everything. I said, look, I got to go home. She said, stop, look at the door. And I'm like, shit. And I looked at the door, and there he was. And I looked at her and said, he's following you. I said, he ain't following me, he's following you. He ain't up in my house, he's up in your house. So we never spoke of it again, but it was good to know that I saw something that you know she had seen. So
you kind of verified it for her. She wasn't crazy, was she?
She went crazy, but the other thing is she was one to mess with Ouija boards, and that's
maybe she was kind of crazy. You know, I don't know.
that's on her now. So they ain't got nothing to do with it. That was a long time ago. So
I got you. Yeah.
I when I was little, last one. I got more, but last one.
Go ahead.
I saw my guardian angel, and I've done a lot of things in this life, good things, but I was never scared to do anything because I always knew I had a guardian angel. And the reason I say that is when I grew up in Hartford, we actually were one of the rare families that actually had a house, Flatbush, and the basement was split into two parts. And as I was walking down the stairs, I illuminated the room, the switch at the top of the stairs, and I look down and I can see feet at the bottom of the stairs, like somebody standing on the side. So as I walked down the stairs, I looked and it was an angel. I assumed it was an angel because you could see through it. It was a big dude, wings back of him. He was folding. He was just, arms closed, and he was just looking at me as I walked around him. I said, "Oh my God, it's an angel! It's an angel!" And I didn't want to take my eyes off him. And as I walked around him, he just looked down at me. He was a big dude. And I said, you're my guardian angel. I said, this is so cool. So I said, yo, stay right there. And I'm trying to go up the stairs without taking my eyes off him. And I'm little, I didn't know any better. And I'm yelling at my mom. I said, Mom, there's an angel down here. Come down here. And she's Spanish. She's yelling at me in Spanish. And she's like, ah. And I'm like, no, for real, come down here. And she says, I'm trying to cook dinner. I said, Mom, come down here. And I took my eyes off and he was gone. He was gone. But ever since then, I always knew I had a guardian angel. And like I said, kind of like a big fish where he knew how he was going to die. So he did what he wanted to do. Really wasn't scared of stuff. I kind of grew up the same way. I always knew I had him. So I'm still here to this day. So
I can't figure it out. It's like you've just told 3 you've got more, and I can't figure out why I never have anything. Nothing ever happens to me. I had 2 things I thought were
well, maybe it has. You just paid attention.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it hasn't. You just haven't paid attention.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, my mind's always off in left field anyway.
And I mean, you're down in Tennessee, I'm
yeah, pretty close. I'm in North Mississippi.
Exactly.
Yeah,
North Mississippi.
Kind of breaking up on us a little bit.
Internet. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm sure when it happens, you'll know. And you got something to share. And if you don't want to share it, then keep it to yourself. And it's just between one last one, and it's a good one. And I went overseas, and we're deployed to a foreign country, and they told us that when we were allowed to go downtown, not to give any of the locals money, especially women, because they would beat them up once we left and take the money. So we did the money exchange, and we went to Zoom. And if I say Zoom, everybody knows where I was if they've been over there. And when I was walking out, I had a lot of their currency left, and I knew I was never coming back there, so keep it. So I walked my hand. I saw a very old lady sitting down at the entrance, and I grabbed her hand so I could see, and I said, thank you. And I had the money in my hand. I passed it to her. Well, she never let my hand go. And a chill from her hand to my hand was something happened. And it put me, the hairs back my neck, everything.
Hey, Ed, we're pretty much lost most of that.
Transferred. I have no clue what had happened. And I hope she's safe from this time. So that's my last story tonight.
That's good. Can you hear me? Because we didn't get half of that.
Thank you for Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
One day we will.
That's okay. That's all right. No problem. I'm so glad you
right.
came on.
I
It's very nice to meet you and to spend time with us. And I know everyone that heard your stories is like, that's pretty cool. So thanks, brother. I appreciate it. All right. All
All
right.
right, you guys have a good night. Happy
See you,
trip.
man. All right. Bye. All right. There was Ed. I sent a link to Rhonda. Let's see if she comes on. Rhonda, you got about 20 minutes. Trying to see if I have another one. I know this is silly. I hate y'all have to sit here and, well, you don't have to. You don't have to watch this. You can skedaddle. All right, here's one. Here's one. Janine, let me send her an invitation. Maybe she will have a story. All right, coming to you, Janine. So, what were we talking about? Podcasts. There's probably a dozen other ones I could share with you. Did I say Fox Hunter? Yeah, I did. Rhonda Coleman, the disappearance of Rhonda Coleman. It's a great story. And I would love to do a podcast like that. I would love to do some digging and researching. You know, Neoma Finn has her own channel now, and I've talked about that a little bit. She was on with us on the last live feed. She is really digging this research and digging up stuff on old mysterious stories. She just put up a video today. If you haven't heard her stuff, it's worth it. It's the weird and mysterious stories. It's along the lines of Mr. Ballin, but it's told by Neoma Finn. And I know you guys who watch my channel kind of like Bigfoot, but there's a lot of people who just love good stories. And those are the people that would love her channel. And even the Bigfoot people, if you'd be willing to take a risk and listen to something else and not feel like you're being unfaithful to Bigfoot, check Neoma Finn out. I'll put a link to her. Let me find her YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link to it in the comments. There she is. She's always right up front. You guys copy that, paste it in another window, or you can go now. Go over and subscribe to her channel and look for what's coming out. She put out a video today called The Terrifying Tales of Truckers and Other Travelers. And I haven't listened to it yet, but it looks great. And she was telling me, I think it was the Nightmare Valley of the Headless Men. There was one, her and I talked a couple of days ago, and she was telling me about one that was really fun to do, and she's just loving it. And I kind of pushed her to do it because I think it's like I could see the talent there. I could tell that she was let's see, post a link for the Yeti brothers. It's yetibars.net, Chris. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, Margaret, she does a great job with creating and digging up these stories. So, well, I sent a link to that woman and I haven't heard back. Usually it only takes about a minute or two and people can respond. One woman said she was she's afraid to do it. By the way, if you're afraid to do it, you don't have to show your face. Just turn the audio on. Everybody can just sit here and look at me. Okay. So if you when you get in, turn the before you come on, turn the camera off, but turn the mic on, leave the mic on, and we just get the audio. So if you're shy and you don't want to show your face, that's not a problem. I know a lot of women think, oh, I need to fix my hair, I need to put a bra on and all that stuff. And I, I know that sounds crazy, but I know that happens because I hear it in my house quite a bit. So my wife's going to shoot me. It's all right. If she gets mad, I'm just going to make her get out and grind some more stumps. I'll just tell her, listen, old lady, get out there and grind some stumps. All right, let me. You know what? I probably need a. She says her browser's blocking her. I don't know. It's a StreamYard link. It's a safe website, so I hope you can get in. All right. I know we've got dead air going here, but all right. I got I got somebody on here. I'm gonna send him a link, see what's up with this one. All right, whoever comes on first, or it gets to, we've been on for an hour and 41 minutes. Dadgum, it's 8 o'clock. It's way past my bedtime. If somebody comes on before 1 hour and 50 minutes, we'll do it. If they don't, I'm gonna sign off because I didn't have any damn thing to say when I got on here, and I sure don't now. I need you guys to help me along. I need help. There's somebody. There's Andrew.
Well,
What's up? What's up, Cracker? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm good, good. How are you?
I'm all right. Where are you from, Andrew?
Charleston, South Carolina, brother.
All right. All right.
Yep. I met you in Gatlinburg. Me and my daughter met you in Gatlinburg, and it was awesome. Got some great pictures with you. And I was the guy who cut in line, and everybody got upset, but your wife thought it was fun. So
yeah. Well, you probably didn't do it on purpose, but
I didn't. I was like, "Ooh, there's a break in the line." So I just walked right up, and then I looked to the right, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a bunch of people waiting." Like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
So
I got something going on with my mic here.
Yep.
There we go. It keeps doing every time I hit my thing, it does it. So I don't know if I've ever did I tell you when I met you how much I love Charleston, South Carolina?
did. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. Yeah, Charleston, that I was born and raised here, and it's a great town, great city, and you did.
We stayed in Goose Creek, and that's where the company was. We were doing I think it's Goose Creek.
Yeah, we always call that Duck Ditch.
Oh, damn.
Goose Creek, Duck Ditch,
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
That's
Southern humor.
My son was with me, and for some reason we were up real early before daylight, and he said, I'm gonna go to get a biscuit and go to Walmart. I said, well, I forgot my razor. Pick me up a razor. Well, he goes and does all that, and he comes back. It's an hour later, and he goes, man, I'm walking around Walmart. He goes, everybody that was in there just talked to me. I said, what are you talking about? He said, no, everybody just said, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? It's like they could tell I wasn't from here. And he'd say, well, I'm from Memphis, or, wherever he was living at the time.
Yeah, that's Southern thing, man.
Yeah, they'd ask him about, his hometown and stuff. And he said, Dad, this is the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And he's right. They really are. So, well, thanks for coming on. What's going on?
Not just wanting to say hey and thanks, man. You're doing a great job. Love Steve Lilly. I mean, all the accolades. If you want them, I'll throw them at you.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But just from one Southern boy to another Southern boy, I love it, man. It just all these other people, they talk different than we do, but
Yeah.
I'll put on a show, and every once in a while I'll put on a show for the dog. I got a 1-year-old lab shepherd mix, and when I got to go to work, I'll put on some Dixie Cryptid, and he can listen to that all day. So he's got some good good tunes going on. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'm playing with him now. Sorry, but no, just thanks for the channel, man. That's really what I want to say.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just telling stories. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not trying to make it any more than it is, but I'm so glad so many people, there's a lot of people that seem to like it. And
yeah,
I'm not sure what to do with all that. Sometimes it puts a little heat on me. Some guy sent me an email the other day. No, it was a comment. And he said, because I did a Christmas video that didn't have Bigfoot in it. And I did, Steve Lilly's just all fiction. It's just stuff I make up in my head. Oh, and it just drove him nuts. He said, you're just not even living up to your obligation to everybody. And I'm like, whoa. I ain't got no obligation to you. I have no, do I owe you money?
That's it.
And so, but what happens is it kind of puts a little heat on you and you feel like, I got something I want to do, but then I have to do something else because everybody expects it. And so I usually just pick what I want to do, but most of the time, 98% of the time, it's Bigfoot stuff. So
yeah,
I don't stray too far.
All right. So you ready?
Yeah.
When I was 17, I was hunting. I had built a tree stand down in the bottom next to a river in South Carolina, in Great Falls area. I was shooting a Kentucky rifle, 45 caliber, had a Ruger 357 Black Hawk as backup. Only 2 people in the world knew where I was, and that was the man who owned the property and my father, who was not going to come out at 5 o'clock in the morning and play a prank on his son. He's a preacher. So I get out in the middle of this property. I get into my stand, and it's dark, and it's nothing. And all of a sudden, it goes quiet. And I mean quiet like you people, they say, hey, everything stopped. It did. And it got so dark, I couldn't see anything. No moon, shadow, no nothing. And out of nowhere, my name is Andrew, but when I was in high school, I went by Andy. And out of nowhere and everywhere, I heard this sound just like this. It said, Andy, Andy, Andy. Now, to tell you that I was ready to get out that tree stand was an understatement. I don't know what it was, where it came from. I just know I heard it audible. I made sure my thong was off of the 357 revolver.
Yeah.
I climbed down that tree stand. I kind of ran through the woods. I didn't run real hard, but I ran through the woods. And when I got to my truck, I took the old muzzle loader, shot it up in the air, got the round out of it, threw it in the back of the truck, and I have not been back since. Tree stand's still there, I guess. I don't know. But it called my name 3 times just like that, and I have no clue what it was. It was not one of my friends. Nobody ever knew. I still don't know to this day. But if I'd have bumped into something, I'd have killed it dead as you know what. But but that was one of my odd, yeah.
Well, what do you think it was?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a kind of fan of Dave Politis and the 411, and when later on I was a wilderness instructor, and I've seen a couple of inclinations of other things in the woods and then in the mountains of North Carolina, and then I don't know. I've seen ghosts and stuff. I don't know, but it called my name 3 times, like it was ready for me to. It was coming for me, and like I say, I don't know what it was. Still don't know what it was.
Somebody,
But it was a life-changing event.
somebody just made a comment that some of your schoolmates are playing tricks on you. And I actually addressed this in the podcast, the story podcast I put out today. That does not happen.
No,
If you had
they didn't know where I was.
If you had a friend you wanted to prank like that and you knew he was going to be hunting, but you didn't know, how in the world would you find him?
I mean, I had 2 guns. We from the South, we shoot first, ask questions second.
That's right.
If like I say, if I'd have bumped into something or somebody, I'd have killed them dead.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I do not know what called my name 3 times that night. Well, it was early in the morning. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Did it sound like it was close or way off?
No, it was close. It like it was everywhere, but it was close.
Right.
And it literally said, Andy, 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 just like that. Just that high, not a high pitch, but kind of a little higher than normal. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And when I was a wilderness instructor, we were coming across, we were on a trail, and there was a branch. There was a tree that was twisted off about almost 7 foot high. It was twisted and laid across the trail. Or just kind of grabbed and twisted and laid across the trail like, I don't want you to come this way.
Oh.
It was a maple, and I actually cut it down and actually still have it as a walking stick now. But I was like, wow, who would do that at, 7 foot high? And then I have, if you believe in the infrasound, as a wilderness instructor, I got hit one day. I was looking at a map, and I got all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. It's the worst feeling ever. Dread. It was terrible. It was like, it was the most lost feeling I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that's, and then of course, later on when you hear all these stuff, you kind of like, oh, well, that might be what it was, but.
Yeah. Do you think it could have been a Bigfoot?
It might have been. The joke is, and I try not to, I've told this to 2 people before, and it's one of those things you don't tell a lot of people about. I was leading the group as a wilderness instructor, and I came around the corner, and in the middle of the trail was a big pile of scat. And you know what scat is. But it was a big pile. And I mean, like it would fill a dinner plate. And I'm like, wow, that's bigger than bear or anybody else I've ever seen. And I'm like, what is that? It's kind of like, so if it was, it was. If it wasn't, I don't know. And there's more than one thing in the woods. So.
Yeah. Had you been out there and somebody been calling your name or something could mimic that sound?
Well, I looked up, what's it called? Ornithologist, bird guy.
Yeah.
I talked to a bird guy, and he's like, no birds in this area make that sound. No animal in the area makes that sound. So no floral or fauna makes that sound.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm, I don't know what it was. I mean, it could have been anything. Could have been. I know it wasn't one of my friends. Because nobody knew where I was. Like I say, my dad wouldn't have done it, but it was one of those enigmas that it sent chills through my body as soon as it happened, and I said, "Nope, I'm out." And I literally climbed down that tree stand, and I left it there, and I ain't never been back. All right, easy. Sorry, I got a dog. You know how that works. Dogs and chickens, right?
Oh yeah. Do you ever think about going back and seeing if that stands still there?
No, that was in 1987. Hush. So
Let's see your dog.
okay, come here, Smokey. Say hey. You see him?
Hey boy.
No, all right. Quit that. He's a 1-year-old Shepherd Labrador mix.
Yeah.
Gosh. So
he probably hears my voice. He doesn't know what it is.
yeah, he's used to listening to it. How about that?
Okay.
Because like I told you, I'll go and I'll hit where you can go on YouTube and you can do where you can hit the play all. Where you can do like play all episodes in this playlist, and
Right.
I'll pick like the playlist where you're talking about UFOs or you're talking about interviews and stuff. So it'll be 2 or 3 hours, and then all of a sudden I'll hit play and I'll tell him I love him and I got to go to work and I'll see him later.
How do you get through all those commercials and ads?
My sister bought the premium, brother. I ain't got to go through the commercials.
Okay. All right. Because I was going to say, if you do, you can listen on the podcast and it'll just click one right after.
Yeah, and I'll listen to that too. Yes, sir. So,
all right. Well, it's good to see you again.
Yes, sir, brother.
Thanks for telling us that story. I know everybody loved it.
Yeah, I figured it might be something a little different and give something people to think about. So,
yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And if anybody ever figures out, let me know.
Yeah. Andy's my brother's name. So,
well, there you go.
Well,
hey, Happy New Year, brother. And glad to see you. And I hope everything goes great and have a great year, brother.
Same to you. Same to you. Thanks for coming in with me.
Yeah, man.
If I'm ever over that way, I'm going to holler.
You do. Be more than happy, sir.
Okay. We'll see you, man.
All right, bro.
Oh, see you now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Y'all, I like this. I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoy this. I get to talk to people and hear their stories, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm not talking too much, I'm not over talking them or anything, and I'm not really having to interview them, although I do have questions and things like that. So, that's I've got now I've been on 2 hours and I'm at my limit, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7 people who would want to come in. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. We're out of time, so I'm not going to do that. I tried to get Rhonda in and she popped up for a minute, but there was a connection problem. And she sent me an email and she goes, "This is pissing me off." So she must be having trouble on her end. But Rhonda, if you'll work out your internet connection or whatever, you just need a phone. And if you had earbuds or whatever, you can, I said this earlier, you can turn the camera off and just use the mic and we'll hear you. We could hear your story, but we'd love to see your face. So, and we've only had, I think we've only had men on. We've only done this twice. And I tell you what, this is something to me that if people like it, it would be worth doing once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe. I don't know. Maybe this is Wednesday night. Wednesday nights are good for me. Start about 6:30 or 7. Go for a couple hours and just let whoever wants to come in, tell a story, come in. And I really enjoy it. And so I don't know, maybe we'll do this again next week. But right now, I'm going to go in. My wife makes this awesome taco soup. I mean, it is something else. And my brother's daughter had a baby, so he's a grandfather for the first time. She had a baby about a week ago. She made this taco soup to send down to them along with a lot of other stuff. And I had a bowl of that soup about 6 o'clock, but I'm getting hungry again. I'm going to go in and get me some taco soup. It is awesome. If you want the recipe, I'll put it in the description in the next video. Hey, y'all, I did put a video out today about 5 o'clock. It's called the Alaskan Killer Bigfoot, something like that. You guys go over there and watch that. Go check out Neoma Finn's channel. D.A. Roberts sent me an email. He says he and Neoma are going live on his channel at 9 tonight, which it's about 40 minutes. So if you guys want to stay up late and watch that, that's fine. But other than that, I'm going to sign off and thank everyone for joining. The audience stayed at about 500 through the whole thing. That's amazing. So I figured I'd be down to 100 after 2 hours, but that wasn't the case. And But if we do this again next Wednesday, we'll do it about 6:30. Unless something comes up, I have to work or whatever. I'll put a notification out earlier in the day. And we won't have any other podcasters. We won't have, soap company people or anything. We'll just have people who want to come in. And so I see 8 or 9 people here who have wanted to come on. You guys check back with me next Wednesday. I'm going to keep your email here, and next I'll send you a link next Wednesday. And if you guys want to come on, and we'll just shoot the bull. And heck, I'll get off if there's more than one. Y'all want to talk to each other, I'll get off and let y'all have it, whatever. But thank you for joining this live feed. You guys know I don't do this very much, but I had fun doing this the last time right before Christmas. I thought I'd give it another whirl, and that's what I'm doing. And this kind of makes doing live feeds fun for me because other people come in. It's not all on me. So that's the deal. All right, we just hit 2 hours. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button. I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend. And I'll have another podcast story video up probably by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. All right. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you later. Thanks.